Welcome to Reality Creative Video. I'm Hermes, and today we're going to cover this little gadget right here. This is, and it's actually doing its thing right now, this is a hydrogen device. This creates hydrogen water. Now, in the last video on the hydrogen water thing, I showed you roughly how we take a magnesium rod, okay, put it in here along with malic acid, and then pour water in here and create hydrogen, and then drink this. So that's a lot of work. You have to put it in the freezer. This thing you got to put in the freezer, and then you can't forget it in the freezer, or this thing's going to freeze and explode. So it's a little tricky. And then you've got to take it out, and you got to drink it naturally within 30 minutes. This method here makes a drink that has not only the hydrogen in it, but also the magnesium. It's got about 40 milligrams of magnesium in it, and some citrus. So it's a nice tasting drink. Okay, but like I said, it's a little bit tricky to make because, hey, you don't want to leave it in the refrigerator, in the freezer, cooling down too long because you will have a broken bottle. Now, so I wanted to try the hydrogen device and compare the two. And now this hydrogen device does things a little bit differently. While this creates hydrogen under pressure, lots of pressure, let me tell you. This device just saturates the liquid with hydrogen. And then when it's done, it takes about 3 minutes. You see the light blue tint to it. I'll show you a picture of a video, close-up video of it. When the blue light goes out, it's done, and then you've created your hydrogen. So what I didn't have before, when I did the first video, was my hydrogen meter. This device happens to come with a hydrogen meter. And so now I'm going to put this in here, and we're going to measure the hydrogen. .6 parts per million hydrogen in here. That's pretty decent. Now, when I put the hydrogen meter in the Brew solution, I call it the Brew solution, it measured no more than 1.2 parts per million. So this method actually creates more hydrogen, and it's easier because you just push the button, you wait 3 minutes. You have to make sure make sure it is not tightened. Okay, if you tighten this top, you will crack this glass and you will be out your $90 for this nice little device. This is an amazing little device that uses chip electrolysis. Okay, what they've done is I got my gold over here cooking. What they've done is they've taken the anode and the cathode, and they've bottled it up with a little bit of platinum, and they covered it with a gel which allows liquid to go through. And they've made a chip, and this chip is used in a commercially available chip now. And that's what made these devices kind of reachable as far as price goes, because the chip is not that expensive because it's mass produced. So this device is quite easy to use. And like I said, if I had to suggest which methods to use, I would say forget about this method, which is a little clinky and you got to be really careful. And I would say just go pick up one of these things. What you'll have to do if you want flavored water is you can't cook flavored water in this thing. You just have to put regular water in there. So if you want flavored water, you'll have to dump this out into a cup with your favorite flavored water. I've been dumping it in NRC. That's like a vitamin C drink. Has a little B vitamins and stuff like that in there. So I've been dumping this out with my Energy, and of course I've been adding my colloidals to it too, because let's face it, why not, right? The hydrogen helps digestion, helps absorb stuff. It helps. What it's done for me is given me a lot of physical energy. Now the gold, which you see I'm cooking up over here, colloidal gold, I love colloidal gold. Colloidal gold makes me limitless. It boosts my mental capacity, unbelievable. It makes me want to do things, like right away. Like if I see something that has to get done, instead of saying, oh, I don't want to do it now, I'm like, I got to get this done right this second. And then I go ahead and do it. But you want to know, it doesn't give me the physical energy to do it. So by the end of the day, I am exhausted from the limitless driving me to do all of these things that need to get done. Okay, don't get me wrong. It's great that I'm doing all these things that need to get done. I need the energy for it. Well, this stuff gives me the energy for it. This thing gives me a physical boost that I was really surprised. You know, when one of my members in Discord suggested I check this thing out, I really didn't think much of it. Hydrogen water, But I'd have to say, after a week of using hydrogen water, my body feels a lot better. I mean, not that it didn't feel good before. I mean, physically, I have lots of energy. It's also an anti-inflammatory. It does a whole bunch of other things. You can review the previous video on hydrogen water that covers a lot of that stuff. Let's get back to the operational aspect of this thing, because it's kind of important. The reason I keep pressing this button is you can increase the amount of hydrogen that you have in the water by doing it up to 3 times. Now, the amount of hydrogen you get in your water is heavily dependent on the amount of minerals you have in your water. So it doesn't work. The system does not work with RO water, distilled water, or zero water. Remember that picture I did a video on a few weeks ago? It doesn't work with any of those things. The most you're going to get is 0.2 parts or 0.3 parts per million on the hydrogen meter when you use those water, that water that's been stripped out of everything. And you really shouldn't drink distilled water anyway. So there's that, you know. So when you're making I think the device itself is capable of delivering between, a maximum of 1.6 to 1.8 or 9 parts per million. I generally get about between 1.5 and 1.6 parts per million on the first push. I don't really get much more than that on the next push, maybe a little bit higher of the button. But if your mineral content is lower, you'll probably be able to add more, a little up to the maximum, which I'm saying the maximum of this device is probably about 1.6 parts per million. Believe me, that is enough hydrogen in you. You do not need any more than that, than that hydrogen in you. That is plenty of stuff. That's what I have to say about this device. If you decide to purchase it or do the pressure method, leave me some comments below. Let me know how you make out, how the hydrogen water makes you feel. I'm Hermes. This is Reality Creative Video, and I will talk to you again soon.